Well, hello, this is Adam, and welcome to Rare Classic Cars. Today I'm fixing up the 68 Mercury Marquis that I bought just about a week ago, working on the carburetor and doing some tune-ups, so I thought you might be interested in some of the work that I'm doing. The major project this weekend has been getting the car to idle. It's had a very large vacuum leak that I've been trying to trace down. I've made some progress on that and found that the previous owner created their own PCV port in the base plate. Guessing because a plastic spacer that's usually there had cracked and they needed a place to put the PCV. So I'll talk about that in a little bit, but for now, have a listen to the engine running. And by the way, it wouldn't idle on its own and would barely accelerate before. It would just stall because it was so lean. There was such a large vacuum leak with it. All right, it's idling now. Off choke. Never would do that before. Got the JB weld, the back PCV. You can see I blocked it off for now, this PCV port, just because I'm diagnosing the vacuum itself. Still got a slight miss, but it actually accelerates really well. And I had to rebuild this carburetor using parts from another carburetor that I had. So I robbed that one. So it's way better now. One way to tell though, these are original spark plug wires. I already tested one, and this was a bad wire, so I had a spare. But all these wires are bad on that side. And how do I tell that? If I put this, by the way, if you ever want to check for vacuum leaks, a can of carb cleaner like this is good. You just go around and spray all over to see if you hear any change in the engine idle speed. Spray it all around the base, all around the hose connections. So I had to go and do a number of things to get this to work out right. And then I had to block off these vacuum ports. I have to look at my other 68, but they weren't right. Somebody put a screw in one of those and it was leaking vacuum. Another one, there was no vacuum hose on the air cleaner on the underside, so that was leaking vacuum. By the way, it doesn't have the right ring sticker. If somebody's got one of those 394 Venturi ring stickers that are impossible to get, let me know. They have the 2 Venturi, 392 Venturi, and the 428 4 Venturi. I think the guy who remakes these got in a dispute with Ford over the 390 sticker. Pretty close to being smooth, but not quite there yet. So I'm going to replace the wires and see if I still have a miss. I did change the points of condenser. Those were really pitted. That was a problem. So we're getting there. Much better now. It actually accelerates. And it's decently peppy. More to come. By the way, one thing that was crazy that I've never seen before, this is a float for these carburetors. And for this particular carburetor, someone used a rivet for the float pin, which is a bit oversized. How do people do this? How do people work on cars that do stuff like this? So the float wasn't able to really go up and down freely. Quote unquote mechanics. It's amazing how many people's former issues I have to fix with these things. Someone also drilled the back of the base plate, which is not correct, and put this PCV port back here, likely because the plastic spacer broke. My guess is they over-tightened it. So I had to get a different gasket. They didn't have the right base gasket, so it was leaking vacuum back there. I fixed that. No, this C6 transmission rod isn't hooked up yet because I want to make sure the carburetor is all doing fine. I hook up, my choke rod and everything else after I make sure that it works well, because some of the stuff, this is just easy. You just put this on here, and then you put the little clip on. But that clip sometimes is a little hard to get off. And I'm not kicking down. I'm just driving it around the area here. See if I've got it right. Always change your fuel line. And I recommend using hose clamps, not these clamps. So I'm going to change this out You do not want fuel leaks. And do not thread this in all the way. Somebody over the past has threaded this in almost all the way. It's almost to the point where I'm going to have to put an insert in, but it's not leaking. Should be a pretty decent sized air gap there. What people tend to do though is they thread them in all the way thinking that that's how they're supposed to go. No, check how it came and then put it back maybe slightly tighter than where he found it. So amazing how many different things were all screwed up on this car. And this was obviously somebody's baby. I mean, look at this thing. Somebody took great care of this, and then it just fell into the hands of somebody who took it to a hack mechanic. I mean, it's beautiful shape. I did replace one of the door light bulbs. If anybody's wondering how you get these out, you have to replace this. These just pry gently around the edge, and pry in an area like on the underside where you're not going to see in case you damage the trim. They just pop out and you can replace the light bulb. Now I've got some brake noise that's on the passenger side. I don't know what it is, so I will have to figure that out once I change the ignition components. But now it runs and drives. Actually didn't stall at all, didn't have to 2-foot it. Just a slight miss at idle, which I'm guessing is probably a combination of this. Now it's got a new Points condenser. I did put the new rotor in. I will have to put a new cap and wires on here, and then I'm going to also change the spark plugs. So I'm hoping that once I do that, that miss is going to smooth out. It doesn't seem to be related to the fuel mixture. So, but it doesn't have a miss off idle. It's just at idle. So there could be some dirt in the idle circuit still or something, but I'm guessing these wires are very, very, very old. They are 50, let's see, this car's 1968, 54 years old. All of the original, aside from the one that was bad, they all are the original Autolite wires on here. I don't know if you can see it. Autolite, there you go, date coded 1968. Let's see here. Yes, 68. So, those are probably not good. It does have a new coil though. I love how people tried to diagnose this thing and the drivability issues by putting a new coil on and a new fuel pump. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This car barely ran. I see the choke's already starting to close, which means they've probably adjusted this rich to compensate for the historic vacuum leak. So that's easy. Just undo these screws and spin that more. It'll say rich or lean. I can't remember. I think lean is this way, is clockwise. Rich is counterclockwise. So I'll adjust that and then we'll go from there. These poor cars. If this were a Camaro or something, somebody wouldn't fall into this state of repair. These full-size cars kind of go unloved by few people aside from me. My cross to bear, I guess. But gosh, how can you not preserve a car like this? What a beautiful ride. Probably pack it up for the evening now that I've got it running pretty well. And I know that I've got a number of other things to do. And wash it because it's all dusty. Maybe try waxing and see what this paint comes out like. Already looks really good. And go from there. And bonus, here's a little nighttime view. What a gorgeous car. How somebody hacks this thing up, just beyond me. This was obviously somebody's pride and joy. Now it's sat with terrible tune-up, hacked together. Mismatched tires, not even on the same axle. Mismatched tires side to side in terms of size. Thankfully, it's not a positive traction rear end, and it drove horribly, so somebody didn't put many miles on it. By the way, it's a 390 under hood and has 32,000 miles. You can tell from really nice interior here. Driver's seat's great. Passenger seat's great. Dash is great. Wheels great. Back seat's great. Like the little reading light there. Air conditioning even still works. Doors close perfectly. Horn works. Oh, being the caretaker of these. Fun job. Well, at least the car is in good enough condition to do one of my famous reach-in starts. I replaced one more bad wire. It's idling really well now, so I think I'm getting close. Little misses there. Probably the last 3 wires that are bad, but causing a little intermittent miss. But man, it's running pretty good. It's not bad at all. Good deal. Well, thanks for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, as that helps the YouTube algorithm serve it up to more viewers like you. And until next time, be sure to check out the video thumbnails at bottom left and right for some suggestions for you. I will be sure to keep you updated on progress on my 68 Marquis. Thanks again, and until next time, take care.